Muy buenas tardes, soy su amiga Ana Cruz para Rollos de Mujeres. Ustedes saben que parte de lo que me gusta hacer es compartir historias inspiradoras y tratar de inspirar a toda la gente que nos ve a través de este medio. Y bueno, cuando yo escuché la historia de Mary Ann, dije, tengo que entrevistarla y tengo que compartirla con ustedes. Please tell me a little bit about your organization.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for your interest. Yes, the Memnosyne Institute, our organization is all over the world, and we're basically helping people handle globalization and all the challenges that come with it in as empowered and responsible ways they can. And it's interesting that you're talking about, the relationship, especially within Mexico, because one of our biggest inspirations is a place called Xochicalco, which is located outside Cuernavaca, where people historically brought people from all over the Americas to exchange information on health, science, art, and that's basically what we do now, but we now do it around the globe.
Why you choose Mexico to work really hard to help people? Why? Tell us about your story, please, Mary Ann.
Sure. Well, for me, my particular story was I was born in Mexico. I was adopted when I was 5 days old. It is really emotionally important to me because a lot of people made choices that allowed me to have the privileges that I have today. And, my parents, I'm very grateful to them, John and Deborah Thompson, they would take me back and they never hid from me. It was never a guilt trip, but it was they never hid what other life could have been. Mm-hmm. So I saw what it could mean to, live on the street, what it could mean to have to rely on hoping that you're selling that piece of pottery. And it helped me have a very realistic balance. Mm-hmm. So as I got things and opportunities here, it helped me to understand that not everybody has that privilege. Mm-hmm. And it made me also put myself in the mind of what would it be like if I was there and I was seeing some tourist walk by and I was looking at them and saying, if I was that person, I would do this. So I always have that in the back of my head, and I always ask myself, okay, if I was that person, what would I do? Well, I am that person, so let's do it.
During your childhood, you got very good advices from your dad?
Yes, a lot of the challenges I had were very health-based. I had a lot of problems with asthma, migraine, seizures. A lot of times, unfortunately, the migraines and seizures could last for 5 days straight, morning and night, not being able to see the sun, being in the dark, nonstop throwing up, pain and all that. And it was very difficult. And sometimes also with the asthma, I was put in the hospital sometimes for months at a time. And it could be and add to that, I also have hearing loss. So I hear a lot by reading people's lips. So a lot of these things are difficult. And my father, one time, he took me over to a creek, Turtle Creek, and he picked up an acorn. He said, do you see this? You know how this turns into a tree? And I was a little kid. I'm like, wow, it turned into a tree. How's that possible? And he said, yes, it does that because it struggles its whole life to reach for the sun. It'll never reach for the sun, but in the process of doing that, it digs its roots deep into the ground, and the process makes it into the tree. And that's what life is. You're going to struggle very hard to reach for things, and sometimes you won't get them. But the only way you do it is if you dig into your roots, and the only way you succeed is if you keep on doing it, and then you do turn into something miraculous. I think being able to serve people is truly one of the most selfish things in the world. And what I mean by that is when you look at somebody and you help them to become the leader they can be, it is so gratifying to the extreme that you won't ever want to do anything else. I've been amazed at, like in the Yucatan, there's a wonderful lady named Dr. Columba Marine. And now, she is a remarkable leader. She always was. But because of the work that we did to help her expand her reach, help shine a light on what she does, a lot of times to be able to be in the media, you have someone who's paid to get attention. And yet, there are many remarkable people all over the world, and they don't get seen. And so, when we shine a light on something like that, suddenly now she's lecturing at universities. She's going all over her country. She's been asked to help other people replicate what she's done. Yes, we put in the money. Yes, we have clinics there. Yes, we're building a school there. Yes, we have campuses. But what's really remarkable is every time we do that, when you can plant a seed, I call it social acupuncture. Every time you do that with intention and the strategy and the knowledge of what people can take, it multiplies. And it's not hard at all when you can see the potential of a person and you see them become a leader.
And I know that you are talking about her and you are too humble, but you have done so many things as well. I was reading about what you did in the past and what you are doing right now, and I was trying to prepare this interview and it was too much. How did it start? Like, how did you feel like you wanted to help people? And what was the first thing that you did that you remember, like, oh my God, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Wow. Well, it's funny that you asked that because I'm actually writing a book and I had to really think about when this really began for me. When I was a little girl, I would actually have dreams, and I would call them nightmares, and I described them as seeing heaven and hell because I didn't have that larger vocabulary. And I talked to my grandmother, and and she told me, "Tell me what you're dreaming about." And I don't know where I saw this because I hadn't seen it on TV, but I had these dreams of these children, and they were like bone, their stomachs were distended. Now I know what that is. Now I've seen that in person. But as like a 4-year-old child, I hadn't seen it anywhere, but it was so vivid in my dream. And she said, "Do you remember going to church? And what is the song that you sing?" And I remember there was this song that we had to sing, and it was, "Here I am, Lord. Is it you calling me in the night? Is it I, Lord? I will go if you need me." And, and I remembered those words, and she looked at me and she said, "That's your answer." And that night I went back to sleep, and I had that same dream, and the child in the dream looked at me, and I said, "I'm here if you need me." And the next day I woke up and I bugged my parents, and they took me to buy food, and it was the first time that I gave food to the homeless. And I realized what that was about, and it was such a deep moment for me, and that's grown.
Does it affect your personal life? Because I know that you work really hard, you travel, you go to help more people, but sometimes you leave your family to be family with that people that is in need. How do you manage all that?
It's not easy. Recently I spoke in front of 3,000 people at the Parliament of World Religions. And the way that happened, I'd been going constantly. And my husband, Joshua, he's a saint. I got a migraine on the plane. He got me in the car. I showed up. And, of course, then they would bring out 30, I'm not exaggerating, 30 drums. So my head's already doing this and the drums are going. But you're in front of people, so you just have to smile like everything's great. And I delivered my speech, and the minute I got off the stage, he was right there. He helped me get to the room, got me my medicine, and I did it again, for 3 days straight. And that's what you have to do. It is not, yes, there is sacrifice. Yes, it takes its toll on my health, and but it's enabled because there are people like him all around me that help make that happen.
What could you tell to the people that feel that in their hearts, that they want to help, but they think that they don't have the money to help, or they don't know how to do it?
A lot of times I'd say it's a matter of your mental ability. A lot of times it doesn't matter how powerful you are, or sometimes how little power you think you have. But if you are aware of how you're making your everyday choices, you will be given an opportunity to make that difference to someone. And at a much smaller level, I've been in situations where, you look, you look at a situation where someone comes in, they think, God, I can only stretch this, and I don't have, but maybe they say a kind word. Maybe they take the time and they look at someone and they say, what's going on? How are you doing this? Maybe you know somebody that can open a door for someone. When you start looking at yourself and you realize you are a doorway for someone, no matter how small or insignificant you think you are, but you have that connection and you have the ability to look at someone eye to eye and say, wherever you are in this life, I have someone or a place or a connection, or maybe I don't have any of that, but I can listen to you, and maybe my life experience can add something. That makes a difference. And I can't tell you how many times in my life I've had people come to me and they're not thanking me because of a check I've written, but because I took the time to see them. So yes, if you think you don't have the money, you're stretching, you're getting by, never let that make you think for 1 minute you don't have something to give. Because again, it's a mental state of where you're at and recognizing that you always have that to give.
Going back to your organization, how people can help, or how people can be part of it, or what we can do to support your work.
It's so important to be helped because legally in the United States, we can only put in, my husband and I can only put in 1/3 of the money in that we get from outside donations. So it's important that people know that if you donate, it allows us to do more. And also it's important that people know that if you donate, zero of your dollars are going to anyone's salary or anything like that, because we cover that. It's going straight into programs and service to people. So the most important things you can do is, look us up on Facebook. We keep that active and ongoing, and so you can always see the newest things there. Feel free to contact us. We're very open door policy. So, if there's a particular area of interest that you're passionate about, then, meet up with us. We have directors in charge of every one of those areas, whether it's the environment, interfaith, human rights, spirituality, indigenous issues. We cover all of that, science, technology. So let us know what you're interested in, and we can connect you. We're very much a community-feeling organization, so you'd be invited to be part of a team. And then if you want to make a donation, that makes a huge difference, more than we can begin to say. So we appreciate that.
What's the feeling that you have in your heart every time when you see those smiles in Mexico, when you see their eyes and you see hope?
Gratitude, extreme gratitude. Because when I see into the eyes of somebody else and you see that they truly believe that whatever I might be doing, they can do it too, then that's the greatest gift in the world.
Thank you very much, Mary Ann.
Thank you. Appreciate it.